Twitch CEO Dan Clancy begs for forgiveness over assault of Emiru. Way too late, probably because he realized the entire internet fucking hates him. And if he was actually sorry, if Twitch was actually sorry, if they actually felt remorse for this, then they would have said something immediately besides the bullshit that Dan Clancy said in that interview with Taylor Lorenz. Absolutely disgusting. Somebody needs to get rid of this guy. Somebody at Amazon needs to just, all right, time to get rid of Dan Clancy. Let's put somebody else in there. You think it's going to happen? Probably not. I don't think Amazon really cares. I think Amazon's a disgusting garbage corporation also. I think Jeff Bezos is evil. Anyway, let's get into this video from Camelot 331. Fucking love this guy.
Dan Clancy's in the news cycle because he finally swallowed his pride. He finally swallowed his pride and got his face out of the 20-year-old cheeks of a streamer.
Damn.
Okay. For more than 5 seconds to
19-year-olds more like.
Finally put out a statement.
20 is probably too old for him. He likes the girls whose age starts with a 1.
About the downfall and Twitch pretty much burning to the ground in the last 2 weeks. Everybody's seen it. Noticing the down.
It's been slowly burning. It's like there was fires and they were trying to, pretend they weren't there and kind of stomp them out a little bit. And now, oh man, they can't even piss on the fire because it's just blazing. It's too big. They can't even get close to it, and it's getting worse and worse, and it's crumbling. Somebody's going to have to pick up the pieces and build something new out of the rubble.
Downfall with Hassan and all these people for a long time. Twitch is a has-been. It's a shell of its former self. It's embarrassing, really.
Yeah, as soon as they banned Trump, it's been downhill.
Now, that being said, who is responsible? Dan Clancy. Well, if you guys haven't been following it,
yeah, it's always the CEO who's responsible, but actually it's not just Dan Clancy. It's the entire higher-ups. It's like the board. It's everybody who's like the top streamers that are connected to Dan Clancy. Dan Clancy's favorite streamers. All the e-girls.
Dan Clancy pretty much uses his CEO title to hang out with young streamers who are his
Hey, I know what this is from. This is from that music video that just released.
Employees. Like I've said before, it's one thing for a billionaire to hang out with a stripper that's 25. That's one thing. It's another thing for a millionaire CEO to hang out with his employees and use that clout to try to get in some guts and make some pisser smashing happen. Which
Oof, I love the way he says shit, man. But it's true. Like, bro, it's if he would have just been hanging out with strippers, that wouldn't be that big a deal. It'd be like kind of gross, but this is actually like a power move from him, from Dan Clancy. This is some actual Harvey Weinstein shit, man. But the leftoids, they love Harvey Weinstein now. Especially people like Emma Watson.
I don't really think is okay, and I don't think anybody would agree it is either. So, at any rate, he released a statement, and we're going to jump right into it and have a good-ass time. And wait until you see the last damn paragraph. It's going to blow your cheeks out the water. You want to jump out of the water and get your cheeks and go back in. Like this, share it for the algorithm, comment down below. Don't be a bitch ass. Let's jump into the sauce. Yep. So here we go. Here's Dan Clancy himself finally addressing all the sauce. It says, first, I want to be upfront and take accountability for the security incident that occurred during Emiru's meet and greet. It shouldn't have happened, and we take that very seriously. We failed. Now, I want to put this out there. When you're in the position Dan Clancy is in, and when you've been caught running around with girls, partying, basically acting like one of the boys, but being in a professional CEO role, no one's taking your lawyer curated statement very serious, in my opinion. Okay, you're making this like corporate Walmart sounding statement.
We failed. No, you haven't failed. You are failing.
When everybody knows that's not who you are. That's number one for me, right? It says both in allowing this to occur and our response following. And what he means is the backlash from the response. If there was never any video of this happening, or if there was never any backlash, Dan Clancy would be partying right now. With
This is an entire PR move that was curated by attorneys.
So it wouldn't really matter. We mismanaged our communications about the incident, and that includes the comments I made. I apologize to Emiru for all that took place. Now, what he's referring to is victim blaming.
Yeah, in that Taylor Lorenz interview that he did. Dude, like, why would you be interviewed by Taylor Lorenz? She is actually a glazer, and she's a gaslighter and a liar and a leftoid freak. And she loves Hassan. She really wants to get in his pants.
Right? He's basically saying
she probably wants to hide him there.
Saying that Emiru should have banned the people that could have been a threat to her, and they wouldn't have, for some reason, showed up to a public event, which doesn't really make sense. He continues, what are we doing moving forward? For meet and greets, we've begun a complete analysis of the incident that took place, as well as other issues that came to our attention after TwitchCon concluded.
Probably the situation with the badges, you know, the wristbands, and Neon being able to just basically put himself in somebody else's panel and pretend he was a different guy, and they didn't even check.
We're examining everything from how we do signups to the layout to increase security controls. And I got to put this out there. TwitchCon has been negative for a long time. And
yeah, it's been getting worse and worse and worse. And next year's is going to be a complete disaster, or it's going to be too tight and it's not going to be fun for anybody.
They've had these issues for a long time. They only are reacting because of video footage and backlash of something that happened at TwitchCon. Whilst the
yeah, multiple things that happened. By the way, in this statement, nothing was mentioned about VTubers, nothing about gifts, nothing about, you know, employees of the venue being garbage. And it's not even really the employees' fault. It's the bosses of the employees and the bosses' bosses and the bosses' bosses' bosses.
CEO was at the club drinking and partying with 20-year-old girls that are his employees whilst this happened, right?
Yep, not going to bring that up, not going to mention all of that.
So it's always had this problem. They were just waiting for something to go wrong so they could finally do something about it.
That's usually how it goes with these retards that end up in positions of power. Probably because nobody wants to actually do it except for the retards. And they use it as an end to get into the party, an end to make more and more money, an end to have power.
It says we're also doing a comprehensive review of overall event safety and security, and we'll be making updates for future TwitchCons. While we won't be sharing...
yeah, the whole, oh, bring a buddy, and we're not going to background check them. We'll background check the person who brings the buddy, but the buddy doesn't get background checked. That's fucking retarded.
Sharing all security updates for privacy and safety reasons, we will keep our community informed about changes that directly impact attendees. All of this is basically nonsense, in my opinion.
Yep.
We have heard concerns about IRL streaming at TwitchCon. Twitch has evolved over the years, and IRL streaming is a part of Twitch. But we need to ensure that TwitchCon meets the needs of a variety of participants. We will be reviewing how we handle IRL streaming at TwitchCon, and we'll have more to share soon.
Probably you're going to have to get a permit to do IRL streaming. That's probably what's going to happen.
Likely, they're going to ban IRL streaming at Twitch.
Nah, yeah, they're going to ban it, but they're going to allow certain people to do it who are able to pay for a permit.
TwitchCon, so you won't be able to locate a creator and zone in on where they are at,
yep.
I guess.
Unless you pay. If you pay for it, then you can still.
I guess that's what that's
guaranteed.
Finally, we got a clear feedback on accessibility across the event. We're reviewing with our teams, including our production and venue staff, so that we're better equipped for future events. You put a lot of trust in us by attending TwitchCon, and we take our responsibility to keep your safety seriously.
Well, when did they do that? They take it seriously after the security issues happen.
We know that TwitchCon means a lot to people, and it means a lot to us, especially Dan Clancy, because that's when he's getting his freak on. Be on the lookout for more updates, and thanks for being a part of Twitch, Dan.
Yep, nothing about VTubers, nothing about all the VTubers being doxxed, nothing about the gifts being stolen and just thrown in the trash right in front of people. That's fucking... They create such bad vibes, such bad sentiment, where the security is just against the people that are there. Like, you should have just made it a thing that there were no gifts allowed beforehand. And they're still not talking about that, by the way. That's one of the biggest issues that they have. because I was a stagehand, we had similar issues, but we would tell people before they get there, do not bring anything, no bags allowed, nothing like that. And if anybody brought anything in, then it was going to get disposed of before it even gets in the venue. But there were cracks. The security doesn't really pay attention to the cracks because the staff, they know where the cracks are and they take advantage. Even I did this. Even I've taken advantage of the gifts. I'm sorry, I'm saying it now. I have taken some gifts, but they were going to be disposed of anyway. They were going to be trashed anyway. And like the likelihood of them being dangerous was very low at the time. It's a higher likelihood now that there's something dangerous. But back when I was a stagehand, well, when did I do that? It was like the last one was 2018.
Dan Clancy. This statement literally was nothing. It was a nothing burger that contained nothing at all. It was basically like, hey, I'm sorry what happened to Emiru. We're going to make changes. That's pretty much the end of it.
Yep. Doesn't say what kind of changes. I don't like, of course, they're not going to say what security changes they're going to make, at least at the implementation level, but they still could have said something.
People have a lot of problems with Dan Clancy right now. The fact that Twitch or the board or Amazon or somebody hasn't lit that dude's ass on fire yet, figuratively speaking, is insane to me. Absolutely mind-boggling. It's almost as if they want Twitch to fail.
I wonder. I've been saying that this whole fucking time, and I think everybody's feeling that. I think they're taking funny money. I think people at the top are taking funny money. I think even Amazon's taking funny money. That's why they don't care, because they're like, shit, well, we can't do anything about Amazon, or we can't do anything about Twitch taking all this money from terrorist organizations because we do the same thing.
That's kind of the way I'm seeing it. It's almost like the people that are running Twitch right now have like stock in Google or something.
Or they have stock in terrorism, and that's why they were selling knives at the venue. You know, they want something to happen. They want violence to occur. It's like somebody's gotten in and they're trying to destroy American culture. And I say this constantly because, like, at every level of everything in culture, it's poisoned. Well, like, why is it like this literally fucking everywhere with all of the terrorism, like, terrorist apologists that are in gaming, that are in movies, at like even at the highest level? Democrats, basically a fucking terrorist organization at this point.
You know what I'm saying? And they want Twitch to fail. You know what I'm saying? Look at this right here. This guy says, sold working sharpened knives at TwitchCon.
Yep.
Banned Emiru's bodyguard from having security. Twitch staff laughed at Emiru getting sexually assaulted.
Yeah, these people are violent freaks. They want something to happen. They really do. They want something bad to happen to the people that they don't like, which are the top streamers.
Assaulter wandered around scot-free with no recourse except a Twitch suspension later after Emiru's team hounded them. Dan Clancy was out bar hopping, partying, and flirting with girls barely 20 years old while being 60 plus, aged, and married during this happening. Plus, those 20-year-old girls are all his employees. Keep that in mind. It's a very, very important thing to keep in mind. Dan Clancy interviewed by an ass-kissing propagandist and victim blamed Emiru for her sexual assault, saying she could have controlled her community a little better. Every year...
How do you do that? How do you control a community that's not even in your community? Like, these people, they're not in just your chat. They'll go into Hassan's chat, and if Hassan talks about Emiru, then they've got Emiru on their minds, and Hassan wants his audience to be violent. So, like, what do you do at that point? Can Emiru go into Hassan's chat and ban those people out of Hassan's chat? That's not how it fucking works.
Drinks are roofied because they allow alcohol to be sitting in public unprotected, including the VTubers drugged last year.
Yep.
They stole and threw away various gifts to VTubers. I hope you and your entire goon squad get fired and sued into hell for what you've done. Twitch needs to be entirely gutted as a company and completely restructured from the ground up by the CEO that doesn't perv out his employees as often as he does. I hope more streamers come out with insider stories exposing these degenerates. And I think
a lot of the top streamers that are like in the main Twitch circle are going to just defend Twitch all the way to the bottom.
Couldn't agree more.
Unless you got people who aren't loyal that are just saying things that to try and be popular, to try and be the top streamers. They're really trying to be an insider. Those people will probably come out against Twitch once they see that they're failing, so they can have an out.
Please. And you know it's coming. Like just watching how Dan Clancy acts in while he's around these streamers, you know it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. I do predict he's going to resign very soon, though. I just can't imagine, right? I just can't imagine that it can continue in this shape and form, right? But
I don't think it's going to help anything. I think probably whoever they replace Dan Clancy with is going to be a corporate freak. A lot of people have been talking about somebody that they want to be the CEO. Never goes like that. They never put in the person that we want. It's probably going to be somebody who is worse than Dan Clancy, but doesn't do all the weird e-girl stuff.
yeah, everybody's telling him to resign. Resign, please resign for the love of all.
Yeah, basically the entire internet at this point.
That is wholly resign.
Yeah, I don't know how Twitch comes back from this, even if they do replace him and they do like do a restructuring. I don't think it's gonna work. And if it's not gonna be somebody that's gonna be on the side of the people that are actually real, like Asmongold, like Nux, they're not gonna allow Nux back. I don't think he did get banned. Yeah. They're not gonna like Tectone. They're probably gonna end up banning a lot of the right-wing people and then clamping down on the left-wing people who are violent, and it's going to make everybody leave. It's not going to be good, man. It's not going to be good. I could see the next CEO banning right-wingers. Is going to be an adamant leftist freak. Donate to the Fables Folly Farm.